Is that your sense of it, Liam, as well? I got the feeling that Klopp perhaps was more frustrated than he let on in his post-match interviews. If you're a Liverpool fan this morning, do you feel it's 2 points dropped that you really should have taken?
Yes, I do. Because we're the better team. So if you're the better team, you should go on and win the match. But as John said, I don't think they're firing on all cylinders up front, and it's been like that now for the last month or so. I think they had a 7-point lead a month ago, and now they're a point behind, and they've got an inferior goal difference. So they've stumbled a little. Although they've had some hard games, the Merseyside derby away is always a hard game. They've had to go to Man U. They didn't lose, but there again, Man United had players injured, and they didn't really take advantage of that. They went away to West Ham and didn't win. So it's just at their firing line, the three lads up front who were so electric last year, and even at times this season, are kind of stuttering at the moment, and I think that's what's letting them down. Defensively, they're still good, Yeah. Another clean sheet yesterday.
And Van Dijk played very well yesterday, but I'm interested in Salah as well and his performances, Liam. I mean, I think it's 1 goal in his last 7 games, and as you mentioned, a couple of the chances that he created for himself and also that he had yesterday, he would have buried last season without even looking twice at them. Do you think that he's just out of form? Do you think he's a little bit nervous because there's so much on the line here? What is it about Salah that he's just not quite firing at the moment?
Well, he's not the same player he was last season, and I don't know whether it's down to the shoulder injury he picked up in the Champions League final, but he hasn't really been the same since that injury. Yes, he's had his bright times this season, and he scored some wonderful goals. And if you look at his goal return, it's still quite healthy, but it's not what it was last year, and it's a question mark for Klopp, because he's substituted him 2 or 3 times as well in big games. He's just not the same player he was last year, and I'm just wondering if it's that shoulder injury, whether he's confident about having physical contact. Before he was brave, he was getting into the box, he was even scoring goals with his head. This season, there's definitely like a 10-20% drop in his performance.
That's interesting, John. I mean, if it is that he's kind of conscious maybe that he's carrying a bit of an injury. We know Firmino, well, the rumours are that he's not 100% fit either. Maybe he's not playing as well as he could, but the body language isn't great, is it?
No, well, it's very, very difficult to know, Hugh, to be honest. I would agree with Liam. He's not scoring. Well, agree with everybody. He's not scoring the way he was scoring last year. But I think that the type of player he is and the type of goals he scores, Hugh, the touch has to be perfect.
Okay.
Like if you look at his first chance yesterday, the second touch on the ball went too far.
Yeah.
Right. And he's no room for errors in his approach to getting past the goalkeeper. His touch was immaculate nearly all of last season too, and when he was obviously scoring. But when he's through like that, getting it onto his left foot, same in the second half, his second touch on the ball went too far for him. So obviously it's given the goalkeeper a chance. So it's very, very fine margins with players like Salah, to be quite honest. It might well be that psychologically he's suffering with the shoulder injury. I think physically he couldn't be struggling now, Hugh,
okay,
because you get over that and you see him running, he's free and he's running, and it wasn't his running that upset him yesterday or stopped him scoring. It was that touch, especially the second touch, where he was usually so close to him that he had enough room to put it past the goalkeeper. Look, if you look yesterday, after the second touch, he's given the goalkeeper a chance.
Yeah,
and there's very, very fine margins in his particular play. You get fellas who are great goal scorers, they whack the ball outside the box, or they do whatever they do. Like Aguero, for example, is brilliant at what he does. But there's none of them as good as Salah as getting at close quarters, beating players, and then just side-footing it past the goalkeeper. And you could see yesterday he was frustrated himself. And I think when that happens a couple of times or a few times in the season, like all strikers, you lose a bit of confidence.
And there's a lot of pressure on him.
Oh,
John.
It's huge. Well, he's playing. He's doing it week in, expected to do it week in and week out. And of course, there's pressure on him. There was pressure on him last year, but he didn't. Probably more pressure this year. But the margins are very, very fine for somebody like Salah. When he gets through, his approach and touch has to be immaculate. And it was slightly off yesterday, and probably slightly off for quite a few of the matches this season, where he didn't score when he was one-on-one.